Oh, my eyes are with the girls, them lock.
We was my way. Ready. Yo, people, welcome back to the Fix Podcast, episode 182. It's your boy Naro here with Ari and...
Wow, Ari's here.
In spirit.
She's not back as yet.
She's not back as yet?
Yeah.
Is that my subconscious admitting that I miss her?
Yes.
I'm not sure.
Yes. And she'll be back soon.
Is it because we recorded the radio show earlier this week? I'm not sure. Anyways, it's your boy now here with Javi.
Woohoo.
Just Jabs.
Yeah.
All right. No Renz would have a runner after she asked me for like be good. I immediately asked her to tender in her resignation. You'll no longer be seeing or hearing from one Renee Moncrief ever again on this platform.
It's horrible.
At least a week suspension, at least. All right. Well, yes, we do have a special guest join us for this episode of the podcast. Mm-hmm. Let me get all the titles right. Hold on.
Get it right.
Investment management expert and music producer, founder and executive chairman of Delta Capital Partners, former deputy director of tourism, group chief executive officer of SSL Growth Equity Limited, former selector, producer, I said that already. Board member of Jampo, just get that one there a while ago. Justice of the Peace. As well. JP.
Didn't see that one.
Am I leaving anything out?
No
Sounds
comment.
just about right.
No comment.
Zachary Harding.
Other than still select and ready to kill us out.
See there, all right. Zachary Harding in the building, people. There we go. Hold on, let me drop the stadium applause here.
Yay.
Hold on. For the
Why
people
you
of the
look for
audience.
it?
Hold on, no, I find it. Ooh, there we go. For the people them who may be just listening to this, the audio files them out there. Mm-hmm. No, this is not Jeremy Harding. They may sound like it. They are relatives though. They are brothers.
His brother.
His brother is here in the building.
Indeed.
Bless up.
Respect, man. Great to be here, man.
joining
Thanks
us.
a lot.
So we have all the things to talk about. You ready to talk about several things?
Born ready.
All right. First of all, for the people who might not know your story, there's a might say, "Oh, that brother who have on the Fix and Rated. Him look rich." Tell them of your story, of your involvement in music, you know, from back in the day, or from the early days, I should say.
Sure. So, as kids, our parents sent us to Jamaica School of Music.
Mm-hmm.
So, a lot of people wouldn't really know, but we actually started out learning music legitimately. I played drums, I played steel pan, I played trumpet.
I play drums too.
Yeah, man. My brother played keyboard, guitar, flute. So we both sang in the choir, like proper like musician. We used to have a band and stuff. After that now, started having parties as a teenager. Really wanted to get into the craft of DJing because sometimes I wasn't always pleased with like how DJs would play the songs. And I knew what I wanted to hear. So my brother was a DJ in Montreal at the time. He used to play on CKUT radio in Montreal for McGill University. And so I wanted to learn how to DJ. So I started DJing. And then from there, it was just all uphill. I mean, I love music. But in particular, I've just always had a love and a passion for dancehall music.
Yeah.
Right. So yeah, I listen to other genres and stuff. I mean, I don't really listen to like rock or heavy metal or nothing like that. But like a hip hop, like a R&B, whatever. Tolerate some soca. It has kind of grown on me.
Really?
Yeah, like a fungus though. But,
Wow. Hate it.
yeah. It's not my
Every
thing.
time it happen to me when me get older.
No, you know what? Just playing music for people and knowing that the girls like it, I kind of just get accustomed to it.
The thing is, I can manage it in like
Yeah,
bits and pieces.
exactly.
Yeah.
And one or two songs are, tolerable.
Yeah.
But for me, it's just always been about reggae and about dancehall in particular. I mean, as a kid growing up, we just had every single Bob Marley album, Peter Tosh album in the house, physical vinyl. And you know what? I just thinking about it, where this soca thing came from. You know that song, Raga Raga Raga? And take his red plastic bag?
All of them sound like that to me.
I don't know that one.
all right, research it. Basically, it's a Trini guy saying that all dancehall songs sound the same. And so he's mocking dancehall and saying raga, raga,
Yeah,
raga,
right.
raga, 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 raga.
Yeah.
And when I heard it, I was just
I
like,
already-
yo, what is this dude up to? Like, why is he this in the genre? So from then, I just kind of had a thing with soca. But anyway,
Probably that's where RDX got. Daga, 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 daga.
yeah, the same melody.
Could be.
So yeah, just been loving the music since then. Jeremy was in Canada. I was back in Jamaica. I was kind of the guy in the streets playing sound. I was playing football, Major League Football at the time for Shortwood. And so I was always in communities playing music and always meeting people that were like, yo, I'm a DJ, I'm a singer. And I say, you know what, I'd love to play my role in trying to be a part of the industry and trying to get good music out there. Jeremy is like the ace producer, school in music production, etc. So he was falling back to Jamaica and he said, yo, let's try and do something together, partner up. And I said, yeah, let's start a record label because I have artists and you can produce. So he said, no problem, just think of a name. And then when I touch down, then we'll, get it going. So I thought about it, thought was like, Harding Brothers, two Harding Brothers, Too Hard Records.
Yeah.
So that's how the name Too Hard Records came about.
Your brother, the story, involving our music, it very similar to my brother.
Okay.
Me and my brother. It's because him receive actual schooling in music as well. Like me, basically learned from him how to play drum and everything. And even we had ideas of opening up a production company and all them things. They would just never get around to it. But yeah.
Yeah, man. Well, it would have been, I'm sure it would have been a big hit because with your sort of take on real aspects of the music and artists and stuff like that. And you keep it real. Like, that's one of the things I respect about the show. Like, there's no going around, you just keep it real.
We try to.
Yeah. And it's necessary because a lot of time people feel like they have to always just say the right thing at the right time rather than just tell the truth, So anyway, we set up the label and built a studio at 8 Jackson Road. And that's where the magic happened. That's where Beanie Man voiced Sim Simmo. That's where Elephant Man voiced Log On. That's where Sean Paul voiced Baby Girl. That's where Vegas voiced Nike. Like, the list goes on and on. All of those songs were produced by Jeremy at 8 Jackson Road.
Were you present for all of those songs?
Most of them, yeah. I was there.
Yeah. What's the most interesting story you can tell us, like from any one of them songs being produced at the time?
So,
I'd be surprised if it's anybody but Elephant Man you talk about.
The year would have been 94 in the studio. Beanie Man was at the studio. King Addies was in the studio. Babyface. And my role was to voice Sim Sim on dub for Addies because Jeremy was like voicing people all day long. And I was at the like apprentice in the studio, learning. So I was like, yeah, man, go on, man. Voice him. I said, you sure? I said, yeah.
What age was this?
Well, I would have been like 18.
18.
Right?
Okay.
So I'm Beanie Man at that time. I mean, it's the absolute peak of his career, right? So he's up at the studio. Addies is there. Addies is like, a sound that I idolize. So I go in the studio, set up everything, check, mic, whatever. Say, yeah, man, all right, DJ, run it. Punch it. Beanie Man voiced the wickedest version of Sim Simmer on dub, other than the version that I have.
Of course.
For Addies, one take. No cutting, no stopping, no start again, no punch, no nothing like that.
One go.
Right? One go, right? And I was like, yo, that's the wickedest dub plate I've ever heard in my life. Take off headphones, rest it on the thing, come around into the studio now to listen back to it and I press play. Silence.
Wow.
Silence.
Jaja, one of them things.
One of them things. Up to now, I don't know what happened. It just never record.
Wow.
And I never Beanie Man turn and say, you see you Harding, you need to learn up the studio thing a little bit. You're not ready for this production thing yet, So you better go and learn it up a little more.
Wow.
I was nearly in tears, literally. So that was devastated.
Embarrassing.
But, rose to the occasion and voiced him again and
Was it
Adi
as
was
good
happy.
as that first one?
It was not. It was not.
Wow.
Was it one take?
Yeah. No, it was a couple takes this time. I think
Because
he
the
was
vibes probably are broke
frustrated.
too.
Yeah, man,
Yeah.
vibes broke, man. The studio vibes broke. So, yo, Jano, dog, what kind of you? And that time, you have to realize we were the first studio to be recording to computer in the Caribbean. So the studio is called Hard Sound because of a hard drive and Harding Brothers recording to a computer. So people would come in there and like be like, yo, where's the tape machine? Like, where's the reel to reel? Like, they don't understand. We're like, no, we're recording to computer. To computer. So how you going to get the tape to play it? Right? No, it's on the hard drive. So we were the first person. That's what Jeremy studied overseas. So worse people were confused because then the voice was just like lost in this little box
Yeah.
that couldn't play back. But anyway.
And then Beanie probably said that damn hard, that new sit there
Exactly.
when I found new
Exactly.
fuck. What is?
Exactly.
New style.
From there on, what was the next big success you would say from the studio for you guys?
Definitely Sean, Paul. I used to DJ at this place called Raphael's in Ligoni, and Sean was there and he would sing and DJ also. And I knew him through school days, but we weren't really like good brethren like that. But there was a mutual respect, and then we started to collaborate, and I took him up to the studio. And then that's how we started voicing dub plates, Renaissance, Travelers, Addy, Stone Love, HMV, etc. Syndicate, of course, big sound. And we then voiced Baby Girl, right? And that was the first song that really started to like catch people's attention. So I was DJing on the road, so I would travel. I'd go to Miami, I'd go to New York, Atlanta, and I'd physically go. This might me sound like some old man thing, but I'd physically go with the 45s that we would have gone down to Dynamics or Sonics to get pressed. Physically put the labels on the records, and I'd travel with that.
No worry, you're not go so much older than Jeremy. Like,
Exactly. And then I'd hand them out. Like we'd go to the dances and play, or go to the radio stations and the promos and hand them out. And then people would see the number on the label, which was a number where Jeremy lived at 8 Jackson Road, and then they'd call. And they'd be like, hey man, this kid Sean Paul, he's really dope. Like, we'd love to book him for a show. And then Jeremy would be like, all right, just send like $1,000 and a plane ticket. All right, man, cool. And then that just went from like send $50,000 and like 10 business class tickets. And Jeremy managed him, and they won a bunch of awards together and did really, really well. So
so what aspect of the management did you handle?
I was on the ground initially. So I was a street guy. I would have been like the street promoter guy. But I was actually Sean's manager initially. Kimani Robinson, who founded RETV. He and I were brethren from high school. We used to have a party called Groove in the Hills. And that was like one of the first shows that Sean performed at. Wayne Marshall was on the show too, a bunch of other people. Brick and Lace performed on the show. And so I was kind of like the guy in the streets pushing the artists. So that's how it started. But then Jeremy is who really managed him and, carried him to the higher heights.
But if I ask you, what happened with the football career?
Still play, but got injured, tore my ACL, had surgery. It's never the same after ACL injury. But I still play, just for fun with friends and stuff. But
Masters League?
played Masters League for quite some years too. But yeah.
Actually?
Yeah.
Wow, man,
actually.
make that as a joke. But actually, Masters League, yeah.
So we're ready for Golden League.
Yeah, I want to just make the ball do the work. No?
Yeah, man,
yeah,
exactly,
of course.
no?
Yeah, me 8 play
Knock
against
it off and
yeah, when the wise and the smart. Me I try to get this out of you.
Right. That's over for you now.
Yeah, no. Me I get there.
So you went to Jamaica School of Music and you did the DJing thing, but how, I want to know like the transition. So you did music, but what else?
All right. What really happened is...
sorry to cut you, but like your parents, were they okay with you like being a DJ and...
Yes and no. I would say initially no, right? So Jeremy kind of set the trend because Jeremy is much smarter than me. He's like academically gifted, like a really smart guy. Was at McGill University doing, chemical engineering and decided that he was leaving after his third year. And he was going to go to Trebas Institute of Recording Arts and do music production. My parents were kind of like, what are you doing? Like, you're at McGill, which is like an Ivy League school basically in Canada. My dad went to McGill. And so they were a little disappointed and we couldn't understand this music thing. Then I thought after that, no, I'm going to do law. So I go to law school. My dad is a lawyer, so they're like really happy.
And then
After a year, I was like,
you go disappoint them too.
Yeah, exactly. I was like, this law thing not really working for me at all.
How long were you at law school?
1 year.
Just a year.
Yeah. So if for years 2 and 3, you have to go to Barbados. That's how the campus is set up. And the thought of going to Barbados at the time just didn't really appeal to me. And as I said, I was in the streets, I was having parties and I was promoting and stuff. So I didn't want to leave to go and do that. So I started a marketing company and I would do promotions for other brands and other people. And then did that for a while, but then met the love of my life, wifey, Tamara. Got married at 21. And at that time, it was like, okay, the studio thing, late night thing, bagaman, weed smoking vibes. I can't come home with that. So we had our first child at 21 and I had to get a real job. Now, prior to that, I went to my father and I told him like the law school thing wasn't for me. And I have to give my dad props because most people would think that, you know, he'd have been like upset and disappointed and stuff.
Yeah.
I guess maybe Jeremy kind of got that out of the way for me. But my dad said to me, he was like, son, I'd never want you to do something to make somebody else happy. I want you to do whatever makes you happy. But whatever it is that you choose to do, just give it 150%. Be the best at it.
Mono, was it that you saw that it wasn't going to work, you never did feel it, or it was more that you saw that there was this music thing that could really happen for you?
The music thing was more of a passion. I mean, I was interested in music and promoting and entertaining, but I mean, I was 18 years old at the time. I didn't really know how I'd make a business or career out of music. So it wasn't that. For me with the law, it was like, okay, this is cool. This is good to know, but I can't see myself doing this for the next 50 years of my life as my job. So why am I going to spend 4 years studying it just to say, oh yeah, I got my LLB and I'm qualified. But then in those 4 years, maybe I could have done something else, like started a record label. Right? So I'm somebody who, I'm very moved by what I feel passionately about. Right? So I don't really take too much talking with certain things. If I believe that a certain direction is the right route to go, I'm going to pursue that. Yeah. Right? Because I always look at other people that have created, invented, started, initiated, developed things. And I was like, well, before them, it didn't exist. So somebody had to get up and say, yo, I'm going to be the first person to do it. And if that's the case, then why not me?
Makes sense. And you recognize this from early too. Like,
Yeah, that's good too.
this lawyer thing.
Yeah. And I mean, I rate lawyers. And I mean, in a way, there's a part of me that wish that I'd finished it just to have certain knowledge. It wasn't really about getting a piece of paper, but because of my current career, which is really in finance, I end up doing a lot of legal related stuff and reading a lot of contracts and understanding about contracts and corporate law and finance and stuff. But, you know, we have people that we pay to do those things.
So after you started your family, what was the next step for you?
Just working. My first job as a bellman at Crown Plaza Hotel.
A bellman?
Yeah.
That was your first job?
Yeah.
And how was it?
It was great. I mean, at the time, it was difficult because I worked on shifts. So it was like late night work and stuff. Pay wasn't particularly great. But I had, you know, good people. I got along with the people that I worked for and it was a new opportunity. But most importantly, I learned humility from being in that job. Yeah. So I'm not the guy that like, oh, you know, daddy sent me and I went and I got like a managerial role at the bank and then I just worked. That wasn't my thing. I just went and I found a job because my dad was like, all right, well, you left school, go find a work. And that's what I could get because I didn't have any qualifications. So I was carrying people's bags at Crown Plaza.
Was there any offers from that to, you know, maybe set you up in a better job or better job situation?
No. He was just like, yeah, you've left school, you figure it out. Right? And not in any malicious way, but he was just like, yo, you need to sort out yourself. I can't make it happen for you. Yeah.
You're not a baby anymore.
Not a baby anymore. I was married, had a child, had a daughter, my first daughter, Tori. So for me, I had to provide. I had to go to the supermarket and buy food and diapers and those things. So no matter what, it could have been construction, it could have been a garbage man. It don't matter. I was doing it because I had a family that I had to take care of.
Exactly.
Right. So no, nothing in it at all. And then from there, I got introduced to go to an advertising agency to apply for a job, and I did. And I went and I did the interview and I landed the job. And that's how really my career in marketing started. And then I worked in marketing for, 15, nearly 20 years, different roles, from Deputy Director of Tourism, Special Advisor to the Minister, as Head of Marketing at Wisinco, Conversion
Titles,
Development,
I forgot to mention.
Red Stripe.
More slashes.
Worked in advertising, 2 ad agencies, and then I eventually owned my own ad agency. So I spent a lot of time in advertising.
How you got your experience in marketing? Like, you did a course in?
No, street. Just reading books and self-taught in a way, just being mentored by other people.
Right.
Did any of the things that you learned while, street promoting help you in that regard?
Right. So it's funny that you asked that question. I've told this story before, but I'll share it with you. I was on a flight once being interviewed by a journalist. And at that time I was like burning up the road with marketing. I mean, Smirnoff Ice, Guinness, Red Stripe Light, Tanqueray, Ocean Spray, Coca-Cola, water, all of those brands I was managing. And I didn't really stop to think about why I seem to be doing well at it. Because I don't have no degree in marketing, but I love the road. And she asked me, she was like, what do you think is like the key to your success? I was like, first of all, I didn't really think about myself as being successful, right? But she was like, well, you've done X, Y, Z.
Yeah.
She's like, what do you think led to that? And I thought about it and I was like, you know what? It's from being a DJ. And literally she was like, I don't understand. Like, what do you mean from being a DJ?
Yeah.
And I said this, which I share with people all the time. As a DJ, I'm continually reading a crowd or target market to position a product or service, which is a song,
Right.
to get some sort of buy-in response, which is really, as we'd say, a forward. Right? So I was doing it without really realizing it. So by playing music, you're naturally sort of marketing and selling to people, but you're selling an intangible.
Yeah.
I'm actually selling a vibe. I'm selling an energy. I'm selling an emotion to get people to react. And they react by dancing, by putting their hands in the air, by busting a gunshot, whatever it is. And that's how you connect with people on an emotional level through music.
Well, you've recently spoken about making a massive capital injection in dancehall. So I just want you to, outline the blueprint of what this investment would look like.
Sure. Still being developed, but for me, what has happened is that we have lost the quality in the music, right? I was at a hotel the other day and they played a Bob Marley song, and I was thinking to myself, I said, how is it every single time I hear a Bob Marley song, it sounds just as good as the last time? There's never a time where you hear a Bob song and you're like, yo, tired fair, no woman no cry. It just, every time you hear it, you're like, yo.
And you start singing along.
Yeah.
Right? Why is that? Quality of the music, the production. It sound good on an iPhone or a Samsung, and it sound good on a big stinking dirty sound system with bass rumbling and thumping in your chest. Quality of production. Not as many dancehall songs today have that quality production. The writing has changed, right? When you go way back in the day, some of the first early dancehall artists, lyrically it was entertaining. You could follow along. There was a storyline. There was kind of like a beginning, a middle, and an end.
Yeah.
You could. There was humor in it, or it was teaching you or motivating you with something.
Yeah.
We still have great dancehall songs today. I'm not knocking dancehall the genre. I'm a lover of dancehall. But when you look at the quality of some of the songs, they suck. They're not going anywhere. They're not being played on radio like, internationally. One or few might make it through, but it's not like one time where like, BET was calling Elephant Man to come and perform because he had just like this song that everybody wanted to hear about. That's not happening as much anymore. So for me, it goes back to the quality of production and writing. So in terms of the blueprint, that would be my starting position. Right? If I was to make it up now, I'd be like, all right, you know what? I'll just take some money, pull together a camp of who I think are the baddest producers, historically, most recently, and futuristically. Because you have some people that are doing their thing now, that they have an ear, and they'd have a certain sensibility about what the younger generation would like.
Yeah.
But they would need guidance in terms of how to create a song and how to structure a song. So I'd get the producers together and I'd be like, yo, we're just going to produce 500 songs and basically drown out the rubbish that is out there. Because right now, producers are having a hard time making any money. Because back in the days, you produce a song, you license it to VP or Greensleeves, you got a check for $50,000 and you're good for the year. So you kind of put out your one juggle in a year. That's not happening anymore because music is essentially free. There's really no sales of, well, there is no sales of records. I mean, they're streaming.
Yeah.
But right now we come together now and we build up something on Fruity Loops on the computer, a new voice and stuff, and we push it out there. It's digital. Once it go on YouTube, a man have it him can play. There's no sale of records. So then it's a disincentive to the producers because that's how the producers used to make money. And then now what a lot of them used to do is produce the records and then manage the artists. When the artists go on tour, they make money off of the touring.
Yeah.
But then now half of them can't travel because nobody can get no visa. So how do you as a producer make money in the music business? That's a challenge.
Do you think that all of these things is a part of the reason why, in your opinion, that the sound and quality has diminished?
Definitely. And I mean, as I said, we my brother Jeremy really started the production to computer era. He was the first to do it and perhaps still the best to this day, right? But after that, everybody with a laptop was a producer. You no longer needed to know how to play drums or keyboard or get a man to come in and play bass or whatever.
It's somewhat of it has become a blessing and a curse in a sense.
Blessing and a curse. So you can produce much faster, right? And you can tune things to get a particular sound. But you tell me, you name the last baddest rhythm that you can think of in dancehall.
Something produced by Dynasty.
Yeah.
Produce the baddest rhythms right now. Shout out Dynasty Records.
Right. What's the name of the rhythm?
Yo, them rhythms, like rhythms in general, I'm not, and this is no disrespect because I know some of them rhythms, but like rhythms in general even has become, like the naming of them, it has become harder to remember.
That's the point that I'm making.
Yeah.
Because it doesn't really matter. Nobody's
My
saying
Letter
like,
to You rhythm.
Yeah.
Yeah, My Letter to You rhythm.
Remember that one?
Yeah.
Right. But gone are the days when you'd have like, okay, well, there's Slang Tang, there's Punani, there's Real Rock, there's whatever, there's Fearless, there's Playground.
Rhythms.
Right, because it was about the rhythm, right? So a producer produced a bad rhythm and then people would line up outside to voice on that rhythm. Those days have changed. So everything evolves. We can't be doing the same thing, 30, 40 years later.
Yeah.
But there's not a lot of songs that you can really point to say like, yo, that track is amazing. It's just more like, yo, the song kind of vibes and it have a little buzz still and the lyrics kind of catchy. But in terms of the actual song, it's not the same.
So what do you think is missing? Like, because you said that the quality is poor.
Yeah.
So is it that they're missing the storytelling element or they're focusing on one thing too much?
All right, so it's everything combined, right? It's like if you're a tailor, right? And your thing is you're a designer, and your thing is you make suits. It's not to say like, yo, well, the suit kind of bad still, but you don't know the pants like a little bit loose or that tie don't really go. It's just overall, if the package isn't right, you're gonna look and say like it's a poorly made suit. Right, so I can't indicate the specifics of it.
Right.
I can't really pinpoint a specific, but it's just how the song is composed. It's not just about going online. And first of all, let me not say half of, a lot of the producers nowadays, they aren't actually making the music themselves.
Yeah.
They buy a beat online, made by somebody somewhere else.
Yeah.
And then they go and find them bad artists and then voice on it.
Yeah, and put it under their production name or label.
On their production name.
Yeah.
So it's not the same. Like, we're not in the studio now collaborating and listening and, yo, yeah, man, I like that phrase, but don't play it in 2/4, play it in 4/4.
Actually,
you know what?
producing.
You know, adjusting the sound, the tonality of the sound, the frequency. When you say German studio, it's like mission control at NASA. The way his thing is set up. I mean, he's like looking at frequencies and adjusting frequencies because he knows how it's going to sound on a laptop as well as how it's going to sound in the club.
A lot of people don't know, but all of them little things that add up, you know, in what makes a song or a good song and why people like a song. Like them little things there.
When you hear it, that's why I go back to Bob, and obviously there's a million examples. Those guys spent the time to tune the sound a particular way. So whether you hear in your Bob on your laptop or on a big sound system, it sounds good. Some of the songs now, if you were to just play it on your phone, you're just like, okay, I don't get it. You have to go out to hear it to be like, oh, I hear the bass now. I couldn't really hear it when I was playing it on my phone.
That is true.
Right?
That is
because
true.
it's not constructed and produced in a way where the frequencies can be spread across all different applications.
So it's not even just the artists alone, like the producers actually
exactly.
have a lot to do with it.
Right. And then now you get to the artists where some of them are just writing some fuckery. It's not, it's like, and I mean, there's a place for fuckery too, don't get me wrong, right? You go back in time, there's only a dancehall that was just gimmicks and foolishness. But, you know, it's fun and it's entertainment. But I still not finding sometimes the quality in the writing across the board. I mean, you have some bad artists. You have like Busy Signal, Idonia, obviously Still Sean up to this day, Bounty Killer for me, I mean, Cartel, those people, their songs themselves are still like, as Cartel would say, they're man lyrically inclined.
Yeah.
Right? But you do have others that are coming up and you're listening to it and you're just like, I don't get it. Like, I don't even know what it's saying. I can't even hear what it's trying to say to me.
There's like a ask you, because me know why you fall into a category of people that we'll have up here. Of old farts.
Yeah.
And people say, you're just all, I a bad mind. I just not like what you them I don't know. Is there any bright spark that you can point to and say, this is something of the newer generation that I do like and I could see doing something?
Sure. I mean, lyrically for me, Skillibeng. Right?
Lyrically.
Vibes wise, intense, eye water. I mean, even the tune the other day with Jahshii and Bounty, I mean, I can hear the potential in there. So there's tons of youth, Yakster. I mean, there's tons of people that have, you know, they're good artists. They're lyrically gifted and they're singing good stuff. And there's a bunch of other people that are singing other stuff. And don't get me wrong, you know, it's not about knocking people, right? But it's about keeping it real.
Yeah.
If you're in football, you can't just be like, yo, every baller, you know, talented. It's like, no. These guys are talented. These guys know how to play as a team. These guys are not ready for Premier League. They can go play Corner League. No offense to them, but they just can't match up to the standard of somebody that's playing Premier League. They're not physically in the same category. They're not as strong. They're not as fast. They're not as agile. And it's just reality. It's not everybody that's going to be good at everything.
Not as disciplined. Not as different factors and everything. Exactly. Yeah, because even Ricky Chupa, I don't know if you saw the whole banger and surrounding him, what they even have him on the show and interviewed him. You know, him talk about how some of them young artists say them can't produce no dub for kill no sound.
Exactly. And they couldn't, he was saying if being about to go on stage now, these artists, they couldn't match them. Because they don't know how to, as you would say, perform. They can't perform. And Trooper to me, Trooper is a legend.
Yeah.
Right? Trooper is I was listening to Ricky Trooper from I was 16 years old. Right? That is 30 years ago. And he was killing sound from then. Right? Man said been playing sound from him was 9 years old. That man is a legend. Like you can't you can't even quantify what he has done for reggae music and for dancehall. And there's others like him as well, you know?
Yeah.
And I don't think he's gotten the right recognition. And yes, he make 2 missteps and put it on YouTube and whatever, and visa.
While sounding inebriated.
Right. But, you know, aside from that, I mean, when it comes to like understanding music and knowing music, when him start telling about scatterlights and heptones and playing,
it's clear to see.
That's where I learned about dancehall. It's from listening to Ricky Trooper. It's from listening to Black Cat. Right? It's from listening to Bodyguard. It's from listening to 4x4 Exodus. It's from listening to Lee's sound. I didn't learn it listening to like Renaissance. I mean, obviously Renaissance, we are of the same generation.
Yeah.
I played for Syndicate. I learned from those sounds, from the troopers of this world.
You recently mentioned on an interview about, you know, creating a catalog, that artists out there need to create a catalog, and that the gun-touting lyrics and songs won't really get them anywhere. It's a thing that we've seen several people speak about, even politicians speak on. So can you just explain the importance of creating a catalog?
Sure. So first thing is, there's a place for gun lyrics, right? What I mean by that is, art is also a reflection of life.
Yeah.
So if you grow up in a garrison, people around you have guns, that's part of the lifestyle around you, and you want to sing about it, that's fine. There's no, I mean, you can choose, people can choose what they want to listen to or not listen to, right? So I'm never saying to somebody, you can't sing a gun song. That would be as dumb as me saying you can't make a movie with violence.
Yeah.
Am I going to blame car accidents on the road for Fast and Furious? I don't hear anybody saying ban Fast and Furious because, you know, people are driving on the road and overtaking each other. It's a nonsensical argument, right? So there is a place. People can express themselves. If they want to sing about gun and whatever, that's fine. It's been in dancehall. It's been in reggae music from it started. That's not what I'm saying. Sing your gun songs, whatever. If people like it, they like it. If they don't like it, they don't like it. What I'm saying is, as an artist, if you want to have a career in the music business and you want to earn a living from singing music, you have to diversify. It's no different than me being an investor. I'm not just going to invest in Tastes Patties alone, because what happens if there's a ban on beef or chicken? You know, I might want to invest in a few other things.
Diversify your portfolio.
Right. So if you're putting it in an analogy of like finance, diversify your music portfolio. That's a good way to look at it. Right? Because I don't know how much gun songs do you want to hear? You want to hear some broke out songs and some wind up songs and whatever. So if Naro doesn't have that in his catalog, you're not going to go to his show. Because then he doesn't have anything to offer you. Remember the same thing I talk about, delivering a product or a service to an audience to get a particular buying or response. If you don't have that in your catalog to make her feel like she's going to whine and go down there or whatever, she's not coming to your show. So therefore you're losing potential revenue stream from that. Right? So I'm not saying be jack of all trades, right? And master of none. You might have to have a particular brand, and your brand might just be dancing songs. Right? Ding dong just forward and just like, yo, happiness and vibes. That's my thing. I just going to talk about girl and dancing and make up some dances. And it work. Right? So you can zero in on a particular area that matches your brand. Right? And all I'm saying is, I don't see a long-term future in a career for an artist that only wants to sing gunman songs.
So suppose the artist believes that the gun songs, those are the only popular songs, and say, yo, we'll try conscious music and girl tune, but people gravitate towards the gun songs.
Yeah, because we spoken to several artists who say them thing. And say, oh, we'll do these type of songs, them not connect. But we'll do this type of song, yo, are this the people them want to hear from me?
That's fine. So I would say to them, great. How long is that going to last? Are you, and if you can still be around 10 years later singing gunman song, then great, then do it. That's fine. Who am I to say don't do that? Right? But I've seen many artists come, voice a wicked gunman tune, right? Shoot a music video with some man behind him with some tall up gun. And then 2-3 years later, you're like, yo, what that artist's name again? They did have that song and vanished.
Sometimes for me, I find, at least in my mind, I think that, or at least I question their energies that they put into some of these songs that they say they don't that them do and don't work.
That's
like
the
how
point.
much energy actually
That
put,
is the
how
point.
much
If you're a
work
real
you actually put in
artist,
making these songs
exactly,
good.
you're a real artist. You're really truly a writer. You are a musician. You're delivering a message to people. You're creating craft that is going to move people, motivate, inspire, make them think, make them assess, make them analyze. You can't write a song about politics. You can't write a song about oppression. You know, you're supposed to be like, you know, some guy that girls have to be careful of the amount of Y's coming through my head. Right?
Yeah, we have the Y them ready. We have them ready. Don't worry.
So you're trying to position yourself now as a gallus, right? You're a gallus and you don't have any gal song. How that work? You're really legitimately a gallus and you only have gun song. And in your music video is just one bag of thugs behind you, and you're a gallus.
Who always talk?
I don't know.
I hate seeing the bag of man them behind. If me an artist, I would ban men from behind me in music videos. No man back on me. None. I'd ban it. Me hate see.
And you know, there's a place for everything, but it's like people are overdoing it, right? So the fact that we even have to be spending so much time talking about it now, it's not productive. We should be analyzing some new songs and be like, yo, you know, what about this and this song bad? And there was a time where music would shift the narrative culturally, and people would start to think differently and be like, yo, I never really thought about things that way. It was that song that inspired me. You know, it's when Bounty sang that song that really made me think about life in the ghetto and how hard it must be. And yes, obviously Bounty is, you know, like the poster boy for Gunman songs himself and is my artist. But he has been able to show his diversification because he has a catalog. Right? He has songs as tributes to his mother, Miss Ivy. I don't hear no tribute song recently by none of the young artists to their mother. Why?
Shensia.
Oh, look at that. Tentic. At least one of there. Yeah. With Taurus Riley shout out.
Yeah. Right. So, and some are doing it, right?
Yeah.
But the point is,
one hand.
you want to listen. Let's not go around it, right? A lot of the people that say that they're in the music business are not in the music business. Right? A lot of the people that are being financed to put out a song and shoot a music video and perform and stuff, they're not being financed by their music. Right? That's just the reality. Now, again, it's not new. Back in the 70s or whatever, when man wasn't in the know where no royalties were coming from, it was a man in the community that used to sponsor them.
Yeah.
So it's not like it's anything new, but now we have to think through, okay, well, how far is that going to take you? And
we
yes,
have to start calling people a plants, you know. I think at them we have to start calling plants. And people are in the music for the music. Yeah. Them just in it for just do a thing and just make some change.
yeah, and listen, God bless them, right? If that's your thing and you can make a change and you can
This is true.
buy yourself a vehicle and you can uplift your community and you can help some youths around you and you can put some food on the table, I'm not going to knock it.
yeah.
I'm not who am I? I'm not no judge. Right? I'm not no moral authority on things, but I'm just trying to say, as a society and specifically as a musical society, Jamaica is powered by and lives on music. When you're saying Bolt run in the Olympics and mash up the stadium and come first, is a dance him doing?
Yeah.
Always.
Right? I don't see many countries doing that. I don't see the American guy doing like a windmill. Right?
Man says windmill.
Right? So we're powered by music. Right? So how is it that we can have a country that is so musically rich, but economically poor. Doesn't make sense. You go to Trenchtown, there's like about 200 prominent people that have come out of Trenchtown, right? The list of musicians is long. Anybody can just Google it. Google artists from Trenchtown. And you see the list tall. You'll be like, no, this can't be like a list of people just from Trenchtown alone. This must be like all of Jamaican's musicians over the last 30 years. No, just from Trenchtown alone. But yet you go to Trenchtown now. There's no development. How does that make sense? How do we have an area that is like, 1 square mile big, and we don't have a national music museum there for people all over the world to come and marvel and be like, wow, this is where the Heptones recorded. Oh, this is Studio One. This is amazing. Right? We're not paying enough homage to the music. We're not giving the music enough credit.
You're dropping gems here.
Right? When people when people are coming to Jamaica, okay, fine. Tourists, you're from wherever, Alabama, you want to get out of the cold, you want to fall to the Caribbean and, enjoy some nice beaches and some sunny weather and stuff. You could just go to Antigua. Why did I come here? Our beach is not any different.
It's true.
Than Antigua. There's virtually no crime in Antigua, so they don't have to contend with that. Them have nice pretty hotels over there same way.
Why them risk life and limb to forward here?
Why? That is the question. Why they risk life and limb to forward to Jamaica? And it is because of the energy.
Different.
It's because it's a different energy. It's because of the vibe. Jamaicans are just different. And we feel it and we see it in our music. It is expressed in our music. So they want to come to Jamaica because of Bob Marley. Right? That's where Sean Paul is from, and Shaggy and Shensia and whoever else.
Yeah, man.
Right? That is a part of it. They want to. It's a lot to do with literally like the vibration that they feel when they're in this country.
You hear people talk about that a lot. The vibration, the feel, energy from the people.
Absolutely.
Them intangibles that we can't necessarily see, but you feel.
You feel it, exactly. And that is the thing with music. Right? Famous artist once said, when music hits you, feel no pain. Because it gives you a different feeling. If you even were to take it to like let's take it to like a illogical, kind of a weird level. If you ever look at the practice of yoga, right? And they talk about in yoga the 7 chakras in the body, right? Which are these energy centers. And if you Google an image of it, you'll see a rainbow. Why for the rainbow? But a set of colors.
Right? When I need this no more, no?
Right? But you'll see a set of colors that represent the different energy centers. Right? So first of all, and I know I'm going like a little bit intense with this, right?
Yeah, go.
How do we see color? The reason why you see red as a color is because the light is being reflected at a particular frequency. So it doesn't look red in the dark when there's no light. It just looks black. You can't see anything, right? So it's red because it has a particular frequency to it. Okay, so everything has frequency, right? So if you now look at the music is built on a range of frequencies. And that's why when you hear a certain reggae song, it moves you in a particular way. Because the frequency of the bass line combined with the frequency of the mid-range, combined with the frequency of the top end, it has a physiological impact on your body that makes you feel a particular way. That's what's missing in the production. Right? If we were to go back to producing music in a way that it made you have a physical response. You ever stand up in front of a like Stone Love sound and the bass line, it just make you feel a ways? I mean, you just feel like happy. The bass line just rumbling and you're just like, yo, I just feel happy in life. No matter what is going on.
Yeah, what them putting on that bass? Yeah?
Exactly. Right? It's like drugs because it makes you feel a particular way. That is what Jamaica has. That is the energy that we have. And that is what we need to be putting in the music.
How can, well, you're here with your vast knowledge, reservoir of knowledge with business and in the music. How can we turn that into actually helping the people? Like, more know what we can do for actually fix things. Because we need to fix. What more can we do? What more is it that you see can be done in helping to fix these things and remedy them?
One of the first things is exactly what you're doing now, which is communicating with people and also publicizing this so that others can hear.
Yeah.
Right? Back in the days, go back to the trench town example, the way those government yards were built, they were built in quadrangles and there was a center point where people congregated in the middle. Right? There was no internet, obviously. So what did they do? They sat down and they reasoned. This is a reasoning that we're having.
Yeah.
Luckily now, electronically, we can broadcast that to other people and they can also listen on the reasoning.
Yeah.
So we have to interact more, first of all, and talk. So the first thing is you're doing it with this show, right? You're bringing people on, you're getting them to explain, share their knowledge, share their history, so that there can be dialogue. There can be consultation, there can be consideration where people are thinking and saying, I remember when I listened to that interview, Naro made a really good point, and then, the response, I never really thought about. So we have to be thinking it through first of all. It's not gonna happen. It's gonna come from us, right? That's the first thing. Second thing is you have to have some sort of a plan or vision, right? That plan or vision is formulated by doing some amount of research, even if it's anecdotal research, to just say, okay, I'm not talking about like some fancy university research, right? I'm just saying, analyze the market. What's working? Is dancehall working right now? Is it quote unquote crossing over and getting people overseas excited? The answer is probably no. So then you say, okay, what's happening now isn't working. That's your first data point. That you almost conclude the study already. Right? So therefore, if it's not working, then we need to fix it. Right? Okay, so then how do we fix it? All right, well, we have to get the best minds together. This thing is not going to happen by, automation. It's not going to happen by artificial intelligence and machine learning through a laptop, like making a song on its own. So you have to get the minds together to then say, all right, you know what? Let's try and produce some songs that can actually work.
I realize you're making a general point, about dancehall, but is it dancehall or is it the specific type of dancehall that is prevalent now with the younger generation, like, and trap dancehall? Like, is it that dancehall that isn't working, or dancehall in general?
Overall,
I would say it is some of the dancehall nowadays that's not working. I'll give you an example. Delamar, Breeze, right? Okay, Delamar, RDX, them back in the days used to make some bad dancing songs and whatever. They separate. Della doing his thing, big up Della. He's a big baller, by the way. We play ball together. Right? So he has stepped out now and he has said, Breeze, okay, cool. It's a concept. Link up with Energy them, develop a dance, and the man is working the song. He's in the streets. He's pushing it. He's promoting it. And then he sent me a message the other day to show me. It was like #1 on iTunes chart of the day. That's a dancehall song. That's not no trap dancehall. That's a dancing dancehall song. So there's still a place for it. It still can work. But you have to get the sound right, because some of the songs that people are making and that you might hear play on the corner at a liquor dance and people are making up a bag of noise, it's not going any further than that. And in their car. It's not being played on the radio overseas. It's not charting anywhere. So what's the point?
For some people, the metrics of success has been skewed in enough people's mind. Like, for them, as long as it the #1 pan trending on YouTube, from them ears to them the #1 pan this a chart or whatever, it's like, artists are doing good.
Okay, great. But again, back to longevity. How long is that going to last for? Okay, great. It's trending on YouTube now, Naro put out a song. It's a little bit controversial. and WhatsApp it to the 5,000 people in the WhatsApp group and post up on Twitter because it have 50,000 followers. So everybody rushes to go to listen to it. It's going to trend.
And comment and say this artist has never made a bad song ever in life. Has never disappointed us.
Right. So it's going to trend because of that, because that's all digital. That's kind of like a digital following. Can you still play the song 3 years from now? Will it work in a party? Will people care? I know when I go out and play, first of all, so I play on the internet most Fridays, 8 o'clock to midnight, right? FetDaysIRadio.com. Started by Squeeze. There's about 24 DJs that are on it, and we rotate and we play on shifts. Every man have like a 4-hour shift, and the ladies too, right? One of the first times I played, this started during COVID, right? So I dusted off my laptop and I decided I'm going to start playing again. Little bit of boredom, and people are at home.
I'm sure it's the laptop new.
Right? So I started playing. The first night that I played for 7 hours straight.
Wow.
And all now, I don't touch anything past 2010. Right? And it's not like I was playing an all hit segment. It's just that there was so much music, so much quality music.
Yeah.
Right? The comments at the end of the thing, people are like, yo, you never miss once. There wasn't a segment where you played like a couple of songs and they were like a little bit weak and then we had to wait for the hype song to come. Every single song for 7 hours was a hit. Right? So there's catalogs of music that are out there. So that Terra Fabulous song, I can still play it now. And bust a dance and get her forward. Will you be able to do that with some of the songs that you're hearing now, 3 months from now? And if you can't, then you really have to assess, well, what's the value of saying that you are trending on YouTube for like 2 days?
I think there's a lot of short-sightedness happening, with the artists them and with the people them in general.
For sure.
From them say, a little thing go on, hey man, the biggest artist that you know. Yeah, boss.
Yeah. Doesn't work that way. And I hear certain artists talk about them not, taking a talk from nobody and whatever, and old people thing and dinosaur and whatever. That's great. Some of these legends have made millions of dollars and bought houses from mommy, daddy, and everybody else. You can't chat to them. You going to say you not taking any talking from that man that has been around for the last 30 years and still getting booked for shows, and you can't get booked for one show?
That's what I mentioned, even your vast knowledge. Is it that you actually speak to some of the artists them and talk to them and try to pass on some of that?
No. Part of the reason is, to be honest, I've not been in the music business for a while. Right? My brother Jeremy is in the music business. He has produced countless number of hit songs, managed artists, most famous of them being Sean. Right? I was in it originally, and then I raised my family. Right? It's just now, and I've always loved the music, but it's just now I'm sort of getting back into DJing, and I'm like, yo, I miss this, and something is missing from the music for me. So every single day or week, there's songs that come out, and I'm like, yo, I love that song bad still, and I'm adding it to my playlist. So I'm not the guy that's saying dancehall is rubbish. I'm saying dancehall is alive and well. However, it is not where it should be. And so there needs to be an effort to I don't want to say get it back to where it's coming from, because then you have to, you're going back in history. No, how can we take it forward?
I feel like some of that is you want to help your brother, because I feel him tired. I feel him personally, physically tired. The dark circle, them might get dark. I've seen him. The man is tired of talking.
Poor Jeremy.
The poor man.
That's part of the thing, as a country, we will have a hard time progressing if we don't learn from those before us. Right? It's not because Jeremy is my brother. Yes, he's my brother. But the man is a fucking legend. Right? There's no other person in Jamaica that you will talk to or interview that understands it as well as he does.
Yep.
You would have just found that from your own. People will know a little piece here and a little piece there. He understands it in a comprehensive way.
I find no other conversations about music more enriching than the conversation they mama have with him. God.
Jeremy,
Because he knows it. He's lived it, he's breathed, he gets it, he understands it. Right? So there must be a role now. And yeah, you're right, he's tired, and he's tired of talking and not seeing any action and seeing a lot of the foolishness that has been going on. So there must be a role now to say like, okay, it's not working the way that it should be. What's the vision? What's the strategy? How do we take the music forward? How do we, again, not to go back, go why for the back, but how do we move forward in a way that you can now start to see like, wow, we now have a stable of 10 artists that are making waves internationally, that are being booked for big shows, that have a catalog, not one song, right?
Or one type of song.
Or one type of song. No, let me say it plainly. I'm a promoter. Let's say I'm a promoter. I used to be a promoter, right? I want to keep a show. My goal is to make money from the show, right? So I'm going to use entertainment. I'm going to use music. I'm going to book artists. Artists are going to come and perform at the show, and people are going to pay to come and see the artist perform. I can't just book you because you just only have one song, because then the show will last like 2.5 minutes. And I was going to make a 2.5 minutes comment, but
Yeah, but people know where they're going with that.
anyway,
Jobs, you know what I'm talking about. No, Jobs, you know what
I'm sure the ladies would like the show to last a little longer than 2.5 minutes.
no,
A
correct?
little longer would be fine, would be great.
There you go, right?
At least a minute more, yeah.
Right, so you want the show to last, so you have to have somebody that has several songs, and you can be anchoring the show with a particular hit, because always you have like one big hit. You're like, yo, I'm booking that artist, that's who's singing this particular song right now. But they have to be able to perform for a duration of time. Otherwise, I'm not spending my money to go there for 2.5 minutes, right? You need catalog. Okay, great. So you need catalog, you need variety, right? As a promoter, do I want to promote a show that 10,000 men are going to come up and stand up and watch one person perform some gunman songs for half an hour? Absolutely not.
Not without a bulletproof vest.
Without a bulletproof vest. Worse dancehall music.
Is it, mate? Yeah.
Worse in foreign.
Yeah.
With some bagger man happy to say, yo, I'm a yardie, and show up with their machine and make some excitement and whatever. No. So I need to have artists that are going to appeal to ladies. You have to think about that. Because if you're an artist and you want to get booked, you want ladies screaming and tearing and flinging draws on the stage, because that's the promoter is going to book you to get that.
I think studies have also shown that the woman them more ready for part with their money than the man them for go.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And the women are going to dictate. They're going to say, yo, we have to go to that concert. Babes, go buy the tickets. Yo, of course. Definitely. You have a couple of sisters that want to forward to.
Yeah.
If the girls are, I'm not going to that show. Songs are dumb. It's stupid. Yo, all right, no problem.
And him can't even perform, because that's the next thing too.
And they can't perform.
And it's a bull fest.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Right? So think it through. It's an industry. It's a business. Forget about the one youth that happens to be sponsored by somebody that wants to put himself out there as a bad man, gunman, and have that one music video. That's fine. Let us not use that to paint the image of that's the entire industry, because it ain't. Right? Sean Paul is on tour now.
Yup.
The same Sean Paul that I talk about, I used to sing at Raphael's when I was DJing at 18 years old, and me and Kimani started to work with him and to try and push and promote his career, and took him up to the studio at 8 Jackson Road. Right? That was a long time ago. The man is charting now, performing now, touring now. Right? So you have to think about that. What is the strategy, the vision to be able to last and endure as an artist?
And I think that's one of the problems that some of the young artists are having now. Like, they're not willing to put in the work and to like be patient, because they used to everything happening quickly.
Exactly.
Instant gratification.
Yeah.
Right? It's
So-
a killer. It's a killer. I mean, you hear all the stories about artists back in the days. I used to bleach at studio door. We're just waiting for their one chance for the producer to call him into voice at one song.
Open up studio gate and everything.
Exactly.
Gate,
Right? They had to put in the
premises.
work.
Yeah.
They had to wait, they had to be patient, they had to talk in. Right? Producer said, no, that don't sound good. Voice that over again.
You a style thing.
Exactly. Right? Yeah. Look, doesn't matter the industry. Everybody has to be able to talking at some point in time.
True.
Right? No matter what you're doing. You're a radio show, extraordinaire, journalist, whatever you want to call it.
We have to go through the
right?
rookie phase and we have to go through all of them.
Exactly.
Thing,
And if people start to call and say, yo, Naro, your show is fuckery, It's boring. Then you got to, you know what? Maybe I need to bring some strippers up in here, and, like change the lighting and start talk about something that, you know what I'm saying? You got to
make
talking.
some changes.
Have to make some changes.
Some tweaks.
Right? So I think the message is, for the blueprint, you have to look at what is it that can work in the long run so that you can create a career for yourself to be able to earn, to provide for yourself and your family over time and for the team. Right? We're not leaving out the team. So it's not just like a one-man show. Yeah, you need to be able to support the team because the team is the ones that are supporting you. They're watching your head back there, dealing with certain things or whatever, right?
Indeed.
So I have to include the team. But look at it as a business, not just as a hustle.
Speaking of business, more and talk about things more, infrastructure wise and business wise. You are a person with a whole heap of titles that we've mentioned. I'm sure you're having conversations with certain people about how we can improve the infrastructure and the business of music. So what are some of these conversations that you'll be having?
It's a good question. If I was Prime Minister, one of the things that I'd be looking at is how can we create a locally sustainable music business, music industry, right? So how the music business works, you write, you compose, you sing, you perform, whatever. There must be a way for you to get paid for your art and your craft, right? There are laws which govern that. Copyright laws, which include mechanical rights and performing rights. Again, these are things that a lot of the kids nowadays are not even spending the time to research these things, right? Mechanical rights used to refer to literally the mechanical reproduction of the song. So you sing a song, you've recorded it, you have the plate, the acetate, right? And you're going to press records, and each mechanical imprint of that record, you would be able to get paid when that record is sold, right? You have the performing rights, which is, if you really take it literally, you would go out and you'd perform your song at a theater or a hall or whatever, and somebody would pay you to do so. That now gets converted into the electronic format where you have the song and it's played by a disc jockey or by a jukebox or whatever the case is, right? And you would still get paid because your song is being performed, even though it's not you. So song play on the radio, you get royalties. Okay, great. Makes sense. Sound like a cool idea, right? Problem is, Jamaican laws do not properly provide for the collection of mechanical and performance rights and royalties. Yeah. So the first thing is we have to look at legislation. You have to be able to have laws that protect and govern the collection and payment of royalties to artists for their art. And that's through the mechanical and the performing rights of the songs. Okay. Currently, the law is not sufficiently structured and defined in that way. It's outdated, right? It needs to be brought up to date. Okay. So imagine a scenario now where, and again, this is a fix. We're talking facts, we're talking reality. We have radio stations in Jamaica that don't pay performance rights, royalties.
That should be.
Well, they should be. They're playing somebody's song. Not only are they playing somebody's song, they are charging an advertiser to spend money with them on their station because a listener is listening to the station
to hear
because they're playing a song, that is sung by Naro. Naro needs to get paid. Radio stations aren't paid. I mean, I'm trying to manage my language, but that's not right. Right?
You said fuck like 3 times.
I know. I try to manage it. You know, my kids are big and grown and accustomed to hearing it, but that's not right. So first of all, you have to look at what legislation needs to be amended to create a framework and a structure for the music business to be able to thrive and exist, and for there to be a system of somebody to create and own intellectual property and then benefit from the royalties due to them from the exploitation of that intellectual property. Legislative reform needs to take place as it relates to copyright and music business. That's one.
Oh, that's one. Sorry. You have a second? That's fine.
And third.
I was just about to ask, how possible do you see these things coming to pass, actually happening?
Very possible. It's just a matter of focus, right? So it is challenging when you're dealing with crime as a national issue. It's challenging when you're dealing with job creation, foreign direct investment, healthcare, roads, infrastructure. There's a lot on the government's plate. Any government, I'm not talking political party, any successive administration.
Yeah.
There's a lot. So you can't do everything, so they have to prioritize. What has happened is that successive administrations have not prioritized the implementation of the correct legislation to allow the music industry to foster and grow. Right? That needs to take place. And that is something that I would be advocating for, to try and see if we can get some revisions and improvements in the law that will allow for us to have a domestic music industry where somebody can voice a song and play on the radio and they get paid. Right? As it is now, we don't even have some of the reciprocal agreements in place. So you might voice a song, right? It's playing on the radio overseas. You can't collect. Because the legislation isn't structured in a way for the performing rights societies to be able to talk to each other, to be able to assess and to be able to pay out to the artists. So those things need to change. One. Second thing is venues. Again, we've heard successive administrations talk about entertainment zones. We're waiting, right? Most recently, we've heard pronouncements that Jam World will be taken back over by the government, and that will be, set aside as an entertainment space, National Indoor Sports Arena, a couple other places. That's great. We welcome that news for sure. That needs to happen. But you also have to have venues for live music shows. When I say that, meaning purpose-built places where the acoustics are such that you're going to get a good experience as a patron. So it's not just about a lawn and it's just a football field and it just build a stage and put up some trussing and fly some box.
Venue built with music being performed in mind.
Correct. Okay, so that needs to take place. You look at Trinidad. They have performing arts spaces where people can go and they can listen to music being performed live. Right. I'm not going to get into the night noise debate. My personal view is that yes, people need to be able to sleep. I understand that as a parent with small children going to school. Well, it was a long time ago. You can't have a bag of noise going on, right? But at the same time, there must be some provision that allows people that are in the music business and in the entertainment business to operate until the hours within which that business operates. Why is it that we say, well, everything must just lock off at 12? What happened to people that they don't go to bed at 12? My brother Jeremy talked about dark circles around his eyes from he was a baby. He was just a night owl. Just saw him born. Just never go bed till 2, 3, 4 o'clock in the morning. Right now, when I wake up in the morning and I check my phone and whatever, and I'll message him and he replies, I'm like, all right, cool, I'm going to go to a meeting now. He's like, cool, I'll go on to bed. That's 7 o'clock. I mean, he has kids and he has a wife, etc. His natural body clock is just programmed that way. It's not idleness why he just works in the night.
Right.
So there must be at least a provision for people to be able to be entertained and to be a part of an entertainment sector that goes until hours that accommodate and suit the entertainment sector, which is not 12 o'clock midnight, right? But again, I'm not going too hard on the night noise thing. The venues have to be able to accommodate to allow for hours of operation that are longer, okay? The final piece that I would add would be the linkages to other industries and sectors, right? For example, how can we put ourselves forward as a tourism mecca of the Caribbean, and people come to Jamaica, again, because of the reggae music and the vibe.
Yeah.
But you're at a hotel and there's no reggae band. Or worse, you're at a hotel and there's a reggae band and they're not Jamaicans. That's a crime. That should not take place. Right? So we have to look at the linkages to be able to say, okay, let us make sure that all hotels have a reggae band to be able to perform, because it's part of the product that people are coming here to experience.
Yeah.
Let's look at the schools, right? Maybe in India, the schools may need to focus on coding, because the kids may naturally be inclined to be writing code.
Yeah.
Sure, we have gifted kids in Jamaica that could, write some bad code and produce some software and whatever. But we have a natural talent, which is music. Right? It's a gift that we have.
A natural export.
Natural export fuel. Right? So then we should be harnessing that and saying, okay, we're not exactly too sure. For example, in sports, we're not exactly too sure if it's really the yam, but we run faster than everybody else. Right?
Something in
it. We're not too sure exactly what. If it's the African ancestry and the history and the slaves that had come to Jamaica at the time, we don't know. But we do run faster than everybody else. So therefore, in sports, we need to put the facilities in place. So we need to build the stadium. We need to make sure that the tracks are there, etc. Why not do the same for music?
And we see the benefits of them things that happening with track and field.
Exactly.
We've seen how much benefits we've reaped from them things. Eh?
Correct. So just the same as you should be saying, every school should have a track. Every school must at least have a football field for, the kids to be able to learn and play sports. Why shouldn't every school have a recording studio? It's 2022. It's some computers and some speakers. It's not astronomical.
So not just a music program,
class,
but like a recording studio.
Correct. Because we excel at that. The technology that goes into some of the amplifiers that power some of the sound systems that play for big concerts came out of Jamaica. We had guys that were tuning amps and building amps and building speaker boxes and cutting the box a particular way with a scoop angle a particular way to throw the bass out a particular way, that other engineers came and studied and be like, wow, we need to incorporate that in our mechanical engineering of our audio sound systems. So we have a natural gift and aptitude for that. Why doesn't every school have a recording studio? Right? So how do we integrate the music into the education system? Right? That's another part of it. Dance is another part of it. The world over comes to Jamaica because of our dancing. Right? Our dancing is now global dance, right? So yes, people have pirated Bogla and all sorts of other moves, and now you're watching and you're watching, you're listening to some Afrobeat and you're like, yo, dance and the man them doing is the same thing that I see, Ray Squad doing at Uptown Mondays. So why not build on that? I've always said, for example, why not have a international dance festival in Jamaica? Bring all of the crews from Ukraine and Russia and Spain and France and Italy and Germany and USA and Canada, and met them have a dancehall battle in Jamaica.
A lot of people would argue that that's why they have Edna Manley.
Edna plays this role. Edna is another discussion. There's a lot of politics in Edna that needs to be eradicated so that it can truly fulfill its purpose. But the concept of an academy or a college for performing arts is a solid one. right? There have been discussions taking place, for example, between UA and Edna. But if it's not working, as I said before, it's just not working. Let's just acknowledge that it's not working.
Right.
And then say, okay, well, the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over and expecting different results. Corruption!
Sorry, I'm going to play that. Yeah, sorry. Far too much.
Right. So let's look at that. Let's discuss that, right? You travel, sometimes you get on a plane, you see two little brother on a plane. Yo, where the man they going? France. To go and teach dancehall. It's a real thing. We need to celebrate that. We need to endorse that, because it's not every youth in the inner city going to end up being a lawyer.
True.
But he might end up being a bad dancer. And he can go overseas and be booked to perform at a show and forward back to Jamaica with a $10,000 or $15,000.
As you talk about celebrating, why we not have a dancehall hall of fame?
Why don't we have a reggae
hall of fame? Why we don't have these hall of fame?
Why don't we have a reggae museum? Right? Again, people been talking about it. It's not a new, it's not me get up and say we should have one. Been talking about it. Right? But we need to move past the talking now. We need to get into execution mode, because what is happening now is our culture is being misappropriated to an extent, but more importantly, the economic value of our culture is going to the benefit of others.
What you mean exactly by misappropriated? Maybe like co-opted in a sense?
Yes. And misappropriated is not really the right word. It's because, we celebrate it. We like the fact that people love our music and love our vibe and our swag and our style and all that type of stuff. So I'm not it can't just exist in Jamaica alone. Otherwise, there's no point. So we want it to be exported, etc.
Right.
But we're not getting the economic benefits from it. Right? There's no reason why there shouldn't be as much of a demand for Jamaican dancers to travel overseas as there is a demand for Jamaican nurses to go overseas. Or as for people to go overseas to go pick apple on farm work. Right? So we talk about things like that. So that's now exporting the culture.
Yeah.
Okay? So in order to export the culture, you need to be able to travel. You need to have visas. Okay? There are certain categories of workers that benefit from expedited services, if you will, to try and get them visas to go overseas for work experience or to learn or to get a job, whatever. Why not the same for music? Why not have a special desk at Jampro, right? And I'm saying this to myself because I sit on the board at Jampro, right? Why not have a special desk at Jampro, which if you're a legitimate singer or DJ, right? You have a company that's registered. You have material that is known. You can show your music videos. You can play your songs. You have somebody that's booking you to come and perform, right? You should be able to go to that desk and get some assistance to package your stuff together to go and apply for a visa. That's what I mean when I talk about the linkages.
Yeah.
That's how the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, the new American ambassador that is coming to serve in Jamaica, it's a KC old boy. He's a Jamaican in the US who has done phenomenally well, who's going to be posted here. You must can sit down and have a reason with him and say, listen, yes, we know a bag of people are banduled with the visa thing.
Yeah.
Right? And then for just get banned, they must can't travel. But you have other people legitimately coming up that would like to go abroad and perform. Let's work with you to be able to export this talent because there's a demand for it.
And we can cut through some of the red tape and all that.
Exactly.
So that's there currently.
Right. And when it comes to the red tape too, one of the things, again, it's about legitimizing things and really showcasing that it is a business.
Yeah.
A lot of artists don't want to register.
Jeremy tired for talk about them thing, tired.
Exactly. If you want to really be a business person and you want to be able to perform your art and make money from it, register yourself. Register your company. Pay your fucking taxes. As an example.
I don't think you can say it any more blunt than that.
Right. Pay your taxes. Be willing to pay your taxes. File it thing properly. Okay, boy, last year I only made $2 million Jamaican dollars. Okay, fine. Maybe fall, below the threshold. But if you make a 5 million, pay your taxes like everybody else. The roads that you're driving up and down the yang on is who paying for the roads? Taxpayers, people at work, right? And have a job and then pay tax and the road fix. And then you're driving on the road. Pay taxes like everybody else.
Yeah.
So true.
Right? So get registered, do the thing properly, approach it with a professionalness about it, and also be willing to really collaborate with each other and with different sectors. We can solve it together through the collaboration. If it's every man for themselves and everybody just trying to get her forward, then that's not going to work.
Which
for
more
an
time
industry.
it seems like.
That's what it seems like a lot of the time. And that's part of the problem in Jamaica. Right? Everybody in Jamaica is a star. Everybody wants to be the only star.
Yeah.
Right? They don't want to work with other people and say, all right, well, you know what? I'm a star, you're a star, you're a star. Let's create something and we shine brighter. Let's
become PSG. I don't know if that's a bad analogy right now, currently, since I'm just getting knocked out of champion. Collection of Star Galacticos. This is Real Madrid. Let's become a constellation. Yeah, but enough people have this national syndrome that I talk about. You know, them feel like them reach to our levels and in them community, them are the man and nobody can talk to them. And who is that guy over there? Me rule, yes, and me the king, yes, and yeah. Them the thing that go on all the time. But for actually, what do you think is the biggest untapped aspect of dancehall right now?
It's a big question. I think just the global acknowledgement of the influence that dancehall has had on popular culture and the influence that it can continue to have. That's untapped, right? When Puma comes to Jamaica and signs some people to some endorsement deals, it's not just because like we have great athletes, but it's because, again, it's the rhythm and the vibe, right? When you have a club in Europe that has decided to put on their uniforms insignia that is reflective of Jamaican culture, of Rastafari culture, etc., that's a big deal. So that we're missing out on those linkages of how do we benefit financially from the impact that our culture, expressed predominantly through our music, has had on the world. That is an untapped area for me.
We have this segment here called Care or Don't Care. Yeah. We just bring up some topics and we say if we care or don't care about them. If we do care, we talk about why we care.
Sure.
So if you're willing to be a part of it, why not? Skillibeng gets roasted over a new song, Whap. Have you heard this gem of a song?
Yeah, man. I've heard
Zachary said. Skillibeng.
So Skillibeng is my
very
artist.
lyrical.
Right, Skillibeng.
Before
is
you
my
even
artist,
continue, and we will big him up on the radio show that's to be aired Thursday. But congratulations on the new deal that you recently signed. First and foremost.
Yeah, man.
So what do you think of this song and people roasting you and say, yo, him fall off and
yeah, well, you can't judge an artist by one song, right? The song to me, let me say, had potential because the way that it is recorded, again, back to the production, it's not on the beat the way that I would like to hear it on the beat, right? So there's a ton of songs that are, kind of gimmicky and whatever. It's one of those. It have a little vibe to it, but it just wasn't executed. It's almost like if you took that concept, but then went and executed it differently, you might have a very catchy hit.
Because some people, at least me, will say, oh, what's the problem with a Whap and why a song like Brr by Skank Connect?
Yeah.
And it may just be those little things that you speak
Just the
about.
production quality. So you string it together. Right. It's still
Brr by one little nonsense, but it sounds bad.
Yeah. But when I'm listening to Whap and I'm like, okay, all right, I can see where this is going, and then it kind of like and as a drummer, I'm like, but the bar need to shift across a little bit because it don't line up with it. That's how I'm thinking of it in my head.
Right.
It's the execution of it.
But for a lot of people, it's not even just these songs. It's been a string of songs lately from him that has been disappointing in the eyes of his fans and enough dancehall listeners out there that touted this brother for being the next big thing.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say it quietly in this mic again. Production. It's not just about two little lyrics and something catchy that really connect and whatever. The song has to be produced in a way that it makes sense. It has to have a sound to it and a feel to it. And then no, not just that, but again, a real producer now will listen to the song and say, no, but it's not constructed properly. This part, you're spending too much time in this part. And those lyrics don't make sense and it doesn't really bring you back to the explanation of that piece. There's something missing. That's in the production value.
I find it funny or confusing because this youth continuing to rise the ranks and you'd like to think that there'd be more people around him to advise him. But it seems like the more him rise, the worse the songs are getting in the eyes of people. What's happening?
I don't know, man. I've never had the fortune of actually meeting Skillibeng, so I can't comment. I don't know the youth at all. I don't know his meds. I don't know who's around him. I don't know his team, his camp, nothing at all like that. But there's no doubt that he's lyrically gifted and with the right team and with the right management and with the right production.
Word of the day.
Yeah. You could get a lot more out of him.
People must say, I choose Rytikal leave from around him. Jervis start the room. Have you ever seen an artist that has had this sort of rise and like within a year or so people that say, yeah, you're another person anymore? Like, yeah, fucker.
Well, it's also the times, right? We talked about the instant gratification. And it's also about the instant degratification. So it's like there's no time for failure. Like if you have to keep at it, you have to put in the work, you have to continue to deliver product. Right? And if you don't, then people just on to the next.
You think that that's more so with the advent of social media?
Oh, 100%. 100%. Because people's concentration levels are super short. They don't necessarily give something time. And again, if the thing isn't deserving of your time, then you're just going to move on. Because you have options. You have other stuff that you can go do or to go listen to or go scroll around and fuck around on Instagram. And so it has to be delivered in a way that you're like, wow, this moves me. This makes me feel a particular way. I want to listen to this again. I want to play it for my friend. I want to hear it in the car. If I go to the club or go to the dance, I want to hear it again. So that it has some staying power, as the ladies would like to say.
Because even like the lyrics, as some people say, duh, this is basic lyrics and this don't make no sense. But then you have other artists like Lali who do simple songs, but it catchy and it have a vibe and
produced.
Well produced. Lali, rate him.
Yeah, me too.
Rate him. Right? Songs, they're out there. They're catchy. People are gravitating towards them. You know, he's not doing anything stupid so far. Right? I never forget once I was talking to Beanie Man and I say, yo, DJ, I don't understand. Like, it's like every song that you do, it just work. Like, how is that possible? Like, there must be some trick to it. There must be, what is the formula for it, right? Beanie Man look and say, Harding, hit song easy for me, you know. Just sing a song that everybody can sing along with you. I was just like, yo, that's profound. but it's true.
As simple as it may sound, it's
right?
profound.
Sing a song that everybody can sing along with you. Right? So if you have a little thing, Lali, short and tally, it's like, yo, people can sing along with it. It's like, it makes it easy. It's repeatable.
Yeah.
Right? Think of a nursery rhyme.
Yup.
That's why nursery rhymes work. Because the kids can remember them and repeat them. Right? I mean, kids don't get to the Skillibeng level yet, but the kids not going to be repeating a Skillibeng song.
There's a repetition as father learning.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Right? So, yeah, and listen, there's a lot of stuff that we also won't be able to predict in terms of the future, right? Things are changing. We're in a time now, it is driven by social media. That's a reality. You have to work with it. You can't be, yo, social media thing is not really for me still. Well, you can't exist as an artist without it. But then now you have to think to say, all right, if it's a thing, how can I leverage it and make the best out of it to then give myself a possibility to be an artist with a long career that I can earn from over time.
I just say leverage it, use it as a tool. I think some of them don't really understand how it is that they can leverage social media. Look at it as a tool. as opposed to, you know, something where me have to put my life out there. And,
It isn't the thing. You said it. It's a tool to get to the thing.
yeah.
Right? So it's just like, you know, if I have a product and I come out with a new juice or something like that, right? Radio might be a tool for me to promote and advertise that juice so that more people consume it.
Yeah.
But it's not, my thing isn't radio. I'm just using radio as a means to an end. So use the social media as a means to an end.
I wonder if it's that if you could take some of them artists at least some of the artists from yesteryear that bust, say a Beanie Man, a Sean Paul, and drop them and drop them in this era, like make them come up in this era. Do you think that they would still, you know, be the same artists?
I'd answer it differently. They're still thriving in this era now.
I know, but is it that, like, say take them for them time, drop them this time, you start from this time, from zero.
If it is that they did know what they did then yes. They made good songs. They made songs that people could sing along with. So if you're doing that now, it will still work. Social media is just a platform to get you the exposure.
Yeah.
Right? But you still have to have the content behind it. Right? Nigel Staff talks about it all the time. He's saying, like, you have to still produce a song in a particular way.
The function. That's theme word.
There you go.
Yeah, very interesting to think about, you know, because we've spoken about how, you know, the people know, or at least the audience know, they seem to thrive on instant gratification. So that's why I even wonder about that, because it seemed like their want for content, or the audience want for content, has changed because of social media. Like, them just want more. What you have next?
Quick.
While as opposed to them time that it wasn't that feverish want for content like that.
That's true. But then, you know, everything has a particular era. So if you go back now and you say, okay, in Bounty and Beanie's time, or in Sean Paul's time, when they started, and their time is still now, because they're still burning up, right? You know, things were different then. Okay, so what about the guys like in the 60s and 70s? They didn't have a digital recording studio that Beanie or Bounty had to go and record. They recorded in a different manner. They didn't have television. You understand? I remember Anthony Miller doing ER for 30 years ago and watching, sit down on my TV, JBC, TuneIn or whatever it was, and watching, you know, Entertainment Report from back in the days then. Scatterlights never had that. They made good songs that people could sing along to. And that's how they made a career for themselves. So every generation have a different set of tools. It's about how you use and how you master the tools to the benefit of your ability to exist and thrive as an artist.
You said the work ethic too, and the attitude, I guess, also adds to that as well.
For sure. There's a kid that I mentor, and one of the words that I continuously try to impress upon him is patience. Right? It's like a lost art. Right? It doesn't exist anymore. Everything, instant gratification, no. Sometimes you just have to be patient. Right? Back in my days when I was not married, right?
Just swinging a chair under.
You look in a girl. You can't just run up on her and be like, yo, I want your number, because you don't know later on things are going to go down. She's like, who are you? No, patience. Approach her a particular way. Have a little conversation that, you know, get a little bit interested. Oh, this guy sound interesting, you know. He made me laugh. You know, has a good sense of humor.
Approach her. Just jump in our DMs now. Approach her.
Failure.
Different times.
Different times, yeah.
Yep, that's where it is now.
Different times.
And yes, you're right. Different times, jumping in DM, etc. But if you talk to a girl, she'd rather a gentleman that's going to come over and compliment her and want to, you know, reason with her, maybe dance, maybe chat about something so that she can be mentally stimulated. right? You're not going to talk to a girl and she's like, yeah, all I do is I just check my DMs to just see who's like, jumping in my DM. No, it's like, no.
Hey, sup?
Yeah. Right? So again, as it's saying in football, know your players. Right? Know your audience. You can't just run up on a girl like that. You have to have some patience. Right? You can't just jump up and be like, yo, man, the baddest artist. No, have some patience and have some respect for those that did it before you. Learn from them. Text some talking. Listen. Right? Because that is how you learn.
One type back in the Skillibeng conversation. Is it that him say it a work for him in some respect that we aren't seeing? Because we were hearing him signing deals and have the collaboration with Nicki Minaj, but yet still the reception from the general public is like, yo, brother, you fall. What is it that you're doing? Like, is it evidence to say that what he's doing is working and that songs and of this generation can work? Like that?
Well, what he's been doing has been working to a point. We're talking about him now. Right? So that's working.
Yeah.
He's a hot topic right now. But again, how long will it last? Right? And there also needs to be a distinction between the product, the artist, and the management. Right? A lot of people miss out on that part, There's a reason why there's a group of artists that had a successful run. And it was their management. Right? And one of those people, aside from, the legends like my brother Jeremy and Robert Livingston and other people like that, but one of the people that has done a great job as a manager is Ramesh. Right? You can't discredit or discount his management ability. Whether you say he's a producer or not, or he's a promoter or whatever. The man has managed some artists and has gotten Shenseea to where she is now. So you have to have a team. Right? Skillibeng as an individual, in his own head and stuff, lyrically, he has it. There's talent, there's serious talent, there's a gift there.
Clearly.
Right? You have the song where mother said, boy, enough people, going to want to fight it or whatever, but you're truly talented and you have to believe in yourself and stuff in the intro. Right? But then it now gets to a point where it's like, okay, you mash up prep school football, you played a little Manning Cup, you did your thing in Corner League, you did a little major league thing, you get signed to Arnett now. You go have to deliver.
How is that matriculation process?
How is that matriculation, right? That is now when you're going to need a team and you're going to need a manager. Because you're going to need somebody to say, okay, well, you have to go training.
Yeah.
Make sure you show up at this time. We're going to cut out this fast food eating. You're going to need to eat some of these things.
That's where sometimes the intangibles come into play.
Correct. Yeah. Guidance. And that's why they have a TED talking. Skillibeng, and again, I've never met the gentleman. I don't know anybody around him.
Mr.
Right?
Bang.
But the team that is around him now he has done his part to an extent,
Yeah.
He has shown his talent. He has put out material out there on his own and captivate people's minds to be like, yo, this artist bad. It's a long time since we hear lyrics like this. It's different. Right? Now is the time for the team to rise. He has done his part. He has shown that he has the gift of what it takes to captivate people. He now needs to have the management team show that they have what it takes to take him to the next level and sustain him as a business.
That's where the marriage of everything comes together and work for a particular goal and work hand in hand. Yeah. Rytikal Jahshii joined EP to drop on their shared birthday, July 7, 2022. Care, don't care, I care. I'm looking forward to this. A two young youth. Yeah,
man.
I say I do them thing. Yeah. Two young youth whose music in which I rate. And I'd like to see more of these things happening as well. You see two top entities for together and do a giant EP, a giant project and all them things there. So I'd like to see more of them things.
Yeah, definitely care. Look, we can't. There is no future of the business without new artists.
Yeah.
So there's no point in us tearing down every new artist. Yo, them artists lame and them not doing that. No, they are the new artists.
Exactly. We have realized that with the years that we've been doing this, like we have to highlight the young artists because they are the future of even what we do as well.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
right? So we have to support them. We have to give them a strength. We have to give them a chance. We have to give them time to develop, right? Everybody's going to make mistakes. Sorry to go back a bit, harping about Sean, but that's just where a lot of my experience lies.
I mean, he's just one of the top selling artists in dancehall history.
It just happens to be, right? Right? Years, probably, I don't know, the first decade. The man that can't perform. Okay, patience. He stuck with it. He worked at his craft. He's performing now. As we're talking, he's overseas performing. As we speak. Any artist that is here sitting down in Jamaica that don't get booked for no show overseas, text I'm talking. Because until you get in booking and you're going on tour, don't bother saying nothing about nothing.
Bell. So look forward to this, Jobs?
Yeah, definitely. That's a good look. And 2 uprising. Well, mainly Jahshii uprising. Rytikal recently, I guess, rebranding away, Pure Rytikal.
Yeah. So, I still hate that name.
Don't
go by that name.
I don't really. Yeah.
Talented youth,
That's
super
He's
talented.
very
Super
talented. And
to the people that say him right for Skillibeng. That's
yeah. That's why I say maybe him are the lyrical one and not really skilly one. Yeah, I'm expecting to hear like good songs from both of them on this project.
Expect nothing less. I look forward to it. I think I did reference this in a conversation that we had earlier. Admiral Bailey says Payola helped to mash up dancehall. Did you partake in any of this, Zachary? Like the man goes like, yeah, sure, I did.
Absolutely not.
Do you agree with the sentiments though? You think that Payola
mash up dancehall
negatively affect dancehall, to make it be at this state where it's at?
I'd have to say yes, for sure, because if 3 of us voice a song and all of the songs are good, but you have the money and you pay for your song to get played and we don't have the opportunity, the audience doesn't know that. All they do is they just hear your song and they're just like, yo, that's obviously the better song out of all of them, right? So I'd say yes, it's definitely contributed negatively to the democracy, if you will, of the music being able to be given a chance, everybody on equal footing so that everybody can be heard, right? So I'd have to agree with that. At the same time though, I mean, and I don't have any record of it, but there's a possibility that some artists wouldn't have gotten their stuff played if it wasn't for people helping to promote and pay somebody to play it. And so maybe that was a tool that was necessary at the time to get it played. I mean, I don't know. And I mean, these things have been going on for decades, but yeah, I definitely think a lot of the radio disc jocks too are to blame because
definitely
they have not necessarily done justice to the music. They play a lot like selectors in a dance where they're really only just playing for the forward. Back in the days when you had the Barry G's of the world, they used to break artists. They'd be like, it's brand new from, and play it and people listen and be like, oh wow, cool. So I think that the radar disc jocks have a responsibility to expose new artists to the listening ears out there and to give everybody a fair chance for sure.
What was your relationship, forwarding up in the business back in the day with radio personalities or radio disc jocks?
It was good.
How did you cultivate them relationship?
There's a mutual respect. I think they could see and recognize that, we really love the music. And so it wasn't a hustle. We really wanted to put good songs out there and to hear them played on the radio and for people to enjoy them. So always had good relationships. I mean, you always have 1 or 2 little assholes that don't really want to work with it because maybe our next man.
Yeah, Killer Clark them a couple years ago on our platform,
but that's also life. Like that's not, it's not specific to music business. In every arena, in every industry, you're always gonna have those little nuances that you need to navigate.
So what else you got now? Beanie Man X's dancehall queen, Carleen and the Angel spotted partying together. Care or don't care? Beanie
really?
Man who you hold in such a... And of course, we have to hold in high regard. The exes. Yo, I care. Yo, it's a good look.
Yeah, of course. That's very cool. That's very cool. I don't have any issues with that whatsoever.
I know you couldn't do that, Jobs. That's why I brought it up. But you couldn't do that.
Really? The partying together?
Yeah.
But why?
See?
Why?
Suppose I enjoy each other's friendship and there's a cool vibe and
Exactly.
nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
Shared commonalities.
Yeah.
And I guess it's years later, so
Yeah, too big woman.
no bad
If
vibes.
Beanie and Bounty can now perform
You see
on
me?
stage and mash up
Even though
verses
it's easier
together.
for man still. For the
No,
It's
but-
different.
Like,
Yeah.
no. It's harder.
Yeah,
in
sure.
my
But
experience.
when you think about the seriousness and the bitterness of the rivalry that took place
that's
over
true.
decades,
That is true.
and importantly, not just the musical rivalry,
It get personal to
the
women.
personal
Yeah.
woman right to be able to fall out of that and be like, yo, all right, cool, that was then, but we are the icons. Right? We are who ghetto people need to look up to and say, yeah, these guys are giants in the industry. For them to be able to do that and, perform at some fest and do verses and all that, that's amazing. Yo. None of us
None
what I'm saying, none of us know how long we're gonna be here,
True.
We think like we have like our next 10,000 years. Some of us might have 50 and some of us might have 5 minutes.
Tomorrow not even guaranteed. You
Exactly.
don't know.
Guaranteed, right? So what's the point of all of the negativity and the negative energy and the fight against? Does that make you feel good? You'd feel good too. Yo, our bag of enemies out there, dog. Yo, haters are real. Why? For
Them
what?
bad mind.
Make some friends. Collaborate with people. Co-create something different so that you can
make
leave a
some
legacy.
friends.
Yeah, just do that.
Seriously, just make some friends. And if me and you are not to really get along as brethren, that's cool.
That's cool.
I'm not gonna get along with everybody, But we don't have to be enemies. We don't have to be
Exactly.
arguing with each other about everything and contradicting. That's why I even like young artists. I never diss young artists. I might give a critique or I might say, yo, I don't really like the song.
And them
or whatever.
interpret it as this.
Yeah, well, then that's part of the strengthening too. Because, again, you play football on our side, our coach going to give you some tough talking.
Yeah.
And you're going to deal with it and say, I'm going to rise to the occasion and prove coach wrong and score the goal or whatever it is that
That
you need to do.
analogy, it's so simple and yet still so, like, why everybody can't pre so? I really think, you know how to coach them, I talk
Yeah.
to the players them in the game and it's like,
They want
it's
the best
same
for you.
thing.
They want
And
the
sometimes the
best
coach them get grimy without them talk to the player them to, hey, I be a fuck yard up on the field, straight up.
Yeah.
And more time they don't take it personal and say, I'm going to stop do that because I want to play better, I want to help the team.
My son had a coach like that, like he was strict.
Yeah.
And he likes how he plays. But like DJ was just like, I'm scared because he's like so strict and he's always picking on me. I'm like, no, he wants you to improve. He wants you to listen. He wants you to observe. Like, look, do what you have to do. But yeah, he wasn't understanding at the time. But I could see, like, when you see someone with potential, you want the best for them.
Yeah.
And that's what he was.
Sometimes of them get the hardest critique.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And especially if a coach sees the most potential in you and you're the laziest one, not fulfilling your true potential. That's a hard work eats
It beats
talent.
skill. Yeah, talent, yeah.
Every time for breakfast, right? So
But I can play the footage. See it here? Yeah, me a beanie man, I'm see this here, I'm so proud. I'm like, look at them. Look at them. This is Carlin's camera. This just shows a Carlin camera better than DNJ camera. So like, that cleaner for me. Wow.
Okay.
Clean.
hear the song to know.
Clean. Yeah. Them know them baby father.
Yeah,
Yo, this is
of
nice.
course.
Of course. They know. Yo, this is cool to see. Big them
No
up.
bad vibes.
Big them up. You know what I mean? I think that just about does it. We have any big ups to do? Have any big ups to do? Oh, we would have to big up Bonnie.
Yeah.
I just know about Bonnie.
Khadija.
There we go, Khadija. We'll big her up for winning her first trophy with Manchester City.
Yeah, man. Big
I do
business.
so begrudgingly, even though I shouldn't. Because of the women's team. Them don't do me nothing.
Come on,
The men's team really. Yeah, I'm a bad mind and everything. Yeah.
Yeah, Khadija Bunny Shaw wins her first trophy
Big
for
up
Man
Khadija Bunny
in
Shaw.
her debut season.
Big up. Yeah, she been a blast the whole onion bag all season long. You know what I mean? Big her up. Yeah, that does it. Give thanks. You have any song yet? You find nobody gave a song yet?
No,
Zachary, no.
I'll shout left side and ask him, because left side is like our next absolute talented genius when it comes to the music. So I defer a lot to him with certain musical things. But I couldn't reach him in time. So I don't really have any new.
Your brother left you hanging.
All of that too. Which I did tell you from last week. The boys and I go and research. But all right, Bust the Utes time. Javi, you Bust the Utes artist and song this week. You have nobody?
So this week I'm using Joegrime, Same Pain.
Shout out, of course, DJ Mac Dynasty, the whole damn crew. Big up Joegrime too. Here's some of CMP in here.
Bag of feelings make me sick enough for those things. So what? New year, new gear, but Polo still a wear. New clothes get up here. Tell we so we not get nowhere. Mommy tell me from a look of youth, so I never to hear. No one want, so I can't compare.
Alright, so that was Joegrime, CMP. Big up yourself, Javi. Are you there? Yeah, I put out some decent songs. Big up yourself. Alright, that week I'm gonna go with.
Who's your overseas artist?
Why,
Is
thank
he
you for
there?
asking, Javi. In keeping with the spirit of International Women's Month, I swear I thought it was just a day. You know about International Women's Month? I don't think that was one day.
Just say yes.
Apparently
just say
it's a
yes.
month. Okay. I feature Kalyra.
Get it right.
Birchill
Get it right.
featuring Kalyra. The
Kalyra.
song called High. Big up yourself. Like that song. Big up Birchill on the product. Big bad producer too out there. Alright, so here's your song called High.
Blue dream, I'm daydreaming about seeing you. You will feel from a want to come in here. Won't want your love just for tonight. But when I'm sober, baby, I'm alright. Only when I'm high.
Alright, so that was Birchill featuring Kalyra. High, I hope I'm saying the name correctly. Alright, and that just about. Jervis, you know the song that we get? Jervis, I listen to him song. Yeah. Find a song? Oh. That's cheating. You can't use Lali. Yo, Lali boss. Lali boss that.
Oh.
You from the TikTok? So it's you reserve it from you activate the card then away. Alright, Jervis, I use Lali featuring Crystal. Bang Bing. Yo, I like this song. I like this collaboration. I'm a rate Lali. Congrats to him as well on his deal that he recently signed. I'm out here do big things. Big up to Frankie Music as well. Lali, Krista, Bang Bing. Yeah. Alright, that's Lali featuring Crystal, Bang Bing. With that try make a play. She still in Jamaica? I still try make a play. I still try make some calls. I like to talk to her. I like her energy. I like what she bring to the thing. And that just about does it for Bust the Utes Songs of the Week. And that just about does it for the Fix Podcast, episode 182. Of course, we have to give thanks again to our special guest, Zachary Harding. Let me go through the list of titles again. Investment management expert and music producer, founder and executive chairman of Delta Capital Partners, former deputy director of tourism, group chief executive officer of SSL Growth Equity Limited, former selector, still selector.
Yeah, man, get it right.
Board member of board member of Jam Pro, Masters League veteran, and Justice of the Peace. There we go. Give thanks to Zachary for
Man,
taking
it was
the
an
time out.
absolute pleasure. Really, really appreciate it, man.
Give thanks,
and
bro.
keep up the good work. You guys are really doing a good. This show is a big deal.
Somebody asked if, we went on another podcast recently, and somebody asked if you feel like we'll get the credit or ratings that we feel we deserve. And I responded, yeah. Because like when we hear people like you and people of your stature that has done so much in the business, say these things,
You're doing
These
well.
are the
And to
opinions that
actually
will
come on the platform.
yeah, exactly. Not that the people them, or even though me and the people them are beef now. Yeah, I don't like, you know. Not that their opinions don't come, but for hear it from the likes of yourself, you know, only.
It's real, man. It makes a difference. It's educational, it's inspirational, it's motivational. You know, there's humor involved in it, and we need more of it. And you're keeping it real, and you guys are keeping it authentic, and that's what's important. So really, honestly, big up.
Would have over 2 hours, and the man has been here. Would even give you a glass of water? I feel bad.
Shabby.
See, they give thanks though. You're on your Dancehall CEO vibe now. Like, that's the title now. Come to the
Well,
TEDx talk and everything.
It was bestowed upon me, and so I'm working with it for now.
See it there?
But yeah, it's I'll never leave the music, and obviously I'm doing other things, and I'm in finance and stuff. I'm not producing currently, so I don't need a bag of people rushing me in the day and say, yo,
go forward. Especially after
it's
this. Them
happened
a go run
already, trust me,
DMs.
every day. Yo,
Hey,
I have a
bro.
new
Hey
artist.
bro,
I'm
yeah, I get some of them. Yo, my G. Yeah.
Listen to this.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't mind it. Everybody has to try to find a way to connect with people, but I just want people to know, like, I'm not actually a producer
Right now.
right now.
You feel you might get that itch there again, maybe?
Yeah, if my plans come through with what I'm trying to do, but more from an executive producer level. Right? I'm not talented like as a musician like that, but I mean with people like Left Side, with people like Jeremy, you know, Bert, some of those odd names, Nigel Staff that you mentioned, Sean Izzle, there's other people out there, Dave Kelly, Tony Kelly, there's so many other people, and the newer guys too, the Chimney Records and stuff. There's enough talent out there. I just wish that I could help to facilitate that talent and provide a platform and a runway so that they can spend their time creating and really producing some good Jamaican music.
I feel you'll be well served in that role, executive producer. I feel so. Yeah.
So, you know, that just give me an idea, you know. I think I'm going to put out an album.
See there? Executive produced by
That's a plan.
compilation.
Yeah.
That's a plan. I'm going to decide which producers I want to work with and which artists. I'm going to DJ call it out. And
See there? Inspired by your time here at the Fix.
there you go.
Tell the people where them can follow you on the up forwarding ventures that you have. That can tell them about.
You can just Google, you know, Zachary Harding. It's Twitter, Instagram, Zach Harding 27. Sometimes you can tune into fetdaysiradio.com on Fridays, 8 to midnight. I'm a DJ show. Not every Friday though, because sometimes I'm traveling. But you soon hear some things happening. I have a few things in the works. So stay tuned.
I'll look forward to seeing them
Supposed to
bear
have a
fruit.
party. Like I can call it to come and DJ.
See it there?
I'm playing this Saturday at Weepo's birthday.
See it there?
Oh.
One thing.
So yeah. No, honestly, like obviously I'm not, you know, DJing for money, but I just enjoy playing music. So with the right invitation, the right thing, not that I won't accept money.
Yeah, with us.
Hey.
Yeah, but Naro got to manage me.
See it there? Yeah.
But
One
yeah,
of
I've
them
been getting some bookings. I mean, I went to Florida a couple months ago and played at Dandy Shandy. So I'm ready. I mean, I'll have new tune and everything and new dubs and all these things.
See there? You don't have the beanie one I do road already.
Yeah, man.
Shout out though, give thanks. I want to say congrats. You mentioned the TEDx talk, but we have to big you
I
up on
wanted
that
to
because
talk
the
about that
first Jamaican-based speaker to be a part of that.
No, so not the first, but the first to go to Aston University specifically. There have been other Jamaicans who have spoken on TEDx before me. And Terry Carell Reed and I went. That was really, really a good experience.
Yeah, I'm good luck.
Thank you very much. I mean, it's where, like, you know, you watch these TED Talks and you're like, oh, that's cool, you know. I wonder how that would ever happen. And then I got the call.
Yeah.
And I was like, yeah, sure, I'd love to do it. But again, being on that world stage, had a choice in terms of what I could talk about, and you have to come up with a concept. You have to come up with some. It's not an interview. You're not just talking about your life and what you did. You have to put forward an idea that's worth spreading.
That's where you came up with Untapped.
Right. So Untapped was the theme that they came up with.
Okay.
Right. And so I worked closely with Janelle Brown from my office, who's my chief of staff. Big up Janelle Brown every time. And we developed what is now called the careful decision-making model. And that is decisions made with CARE that leave you feeling more fulfilled.
Yeah.
We're able to summarize it and say, with every decision, you have to realize when you're at that crossroads or decision-making point.
C.
That's a C. You have to approach it with authenticity. Bring your true authentic self to the table. Then you have to assess the risks associated with the decision. Typically, we think of risks as what could go wrong, but we've remixed the risks in terms of what could go right. And look at the upside of that. And then to put the right emotion behind that decision to be able to follow through. And if you can do that, you'll make better decisions, which will lead to a more fulfilling life.
That presentation was so cool on TEDx. Wow, sad. It was very thorough. It was very clear, and you had like just humor in it as well.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Thank you.
It was pretty cool.
A channel over 34 million subscribers. Big audience. Damn good look. Also, we hope say the investments and everything actually bear fruit, and we're looking for. We'll speak it into it is going to bear fruit.
Yeah, man.
We're going to see the thing improve. That's what we've been on lately. Positivity.
Positive
Speaking, except for the people that me hate on the side. But positivity and us, trying to find solutions and having conversations like these, I feel, are integral in,
Absolutely.
finding those solutions.
Look, everything comes back to mindset. Right?
Yep.
If you just choose and decide that you're just going to live a miserable life and everybody's against you and there's no opportunity in the world and the day is dark or whatever, that is your life.
Everybody bad mind me.
Exactly. If you decide and choose to say like, no, I'm going to do well, I'm going to live good with people, I'm going to have good energy, I'm going to try my best, I'm going to fail, I'm going to pick myself up and I'm going to brush myself off and move forward and I'm going to make the best of myself, then that will be your life.
So man, just mind over matter.
It's just mind over matter. And we have to be careful about our frame of mind.
Yes.
Right? Just the same as if you're trying to be an athlete, you have to be mindful of what you're eating, what you're digesting. It's the same thing in terms of content, right? Be mindful of what news you're watching. Be mindful about what you're taking in and what is influencing you and your thought process and your decision making. Is it real? Or are you just making that decision because you feel that that is a popular thing to do?
Yeah.
Right? And I mean, if I could leave this discussion and this reasoning with one thing to kind of say, I guess, to the younger generation, it would really be, do your own thing. Right? Chart your own course. Right? Be a leader. Yes, there's time to follow and there's time to learn from other people. But don't just do something because you feel like that is a hype thing to do. Right? It's not going to last. It's not going to work. Right? Be authentic. Be true to yourself. Keep it real. Be honest. And try to live a good, clean, positive life as best as possible. Right? We're not here for a long time, but we're here for a good time. So make the best of it.
And take telling too. Tech talk. Tech talk. Yeah, tech talk. Give thanks. We can't pan a note. There's me give thanks again to Sir Zachary Harding.
Respect, man.
And we that people we out. Alright, so that was our conversation with Zachary Harding. If we get to plug ourselves. Why?
Did that out.
Okay, end the podcast and promote ourselves, of course. So, Javi, where can the people follow you on the social medias?
Follow me on Instagram at Just Jabs and subscribe to my YouTube channel, Just Jabs.
Don't know, so you can follow me, EDOT, on Instagram and on the Twitters, and also EDOT, Naro. I just leave it at that.
Just left out the Naro
I am
part.
tired. Zachary Harding can chat. Yo, shout out Zachary Harding. EDOTNARO on Instagram and on the Twitters. I don't know, so you can follow us across all social media platforms at the Fix JA, Twitter, Instagram, the Tickety Talks. Like us on Facebook, facebook.com/the Fix JA, and of course subscribe to our YouTube channel, youtube.com/the Fix JA. We can't forget to plug the radio show. Tune in to us every Thursday night on Bridge 99 FM, 9 to 11 p.m.
9 to 10.
9 to 10? Oh, may I speak to 2 hours in existence. May I get ahead of myself. Sorry. 9 to 10 p.m. Last week's show went well, didn't it?
Yeah, it did.
Yeah, it did. And we have a nice show in store for you this week. So stay tuned. Be on the lookout for that. All the highlights out there. This is the only avenue for now in which you get to see or hear anything.
Ari's back, but she's not on the podcast.
Yeah, she's not on the podcast. She's on the radio. So you can catch her there on the Bridge 99 FM. I see it actually tune in on the radio. I see it posted
Of
on the story
course,
and all
I
these
told my
things.
mom, like,
See that?
hello,
Yeah.
your radio work.
Well, she like, oh, that's my girl.
Yeah, everybody run,
Hercules.
come in and listen.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was cool.
Twins and DJ, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, one thing.
Listen to mommy.
So yes, people. This on every Thursday night, 9 to 10 p.m.
9 to 10.
Yes, on Bridge 99 FM. If you're not on the radio, if them think they're outdated for you right now, the Bridge99fm.com, you can listen there and tune in to the Fix on the Bridge. The Fix is in. Stealing that phrase.
Fix is in.
Fix is in. All right, people. I guess, yeah, this is our second ending.
Yeah.
You can truly end things now.
Before I pass out.
All right. Yeah, me tired. As you can clearly hear and see. We gone. Kiko.